Hi, my name is Jamie Edmonds. You may know me from my 20 years in TV news, more than a decade at WDIV in Detroit.
I'm Jamie Edmonds.
Or you may have heard my voice for the past 3 years on the historic WJR 760 on the morning show. It was so fun to wake up Sunday morning, get ready, watch this game. I have told other people's stories for years. It's time to tell my own. I was diagnosed with breast cancer in February 2026. I am in the thick of the fight. Since that terrible phone call, angels have propped me up and supported me, starting with the two in my household, my husband Ryan and my daughter Olivia. Then the circle expanded to so many people, so many angels helping me get through this. That's why I named this podcast Angels Along the Way. I will talk to folks who treat this awful disease, those who console, those who assist, and those who inspire. I hope this helps anyone and everyone on a similar path. This is an example of Instagram to reality because I just went through this time where I just wanted to consume as much information as I could. I was going through Instagram trying to find some comfort, and I found it in Jen Delvaux and her page. And I reached out to her and I said, "Can you join me for my passion project, my podcast?" And she said, "Sure." And here she is. Hey, Jen.
Hey, I'm so happy to be here. This is like my favorite conversation to talk about since my diagnosis.
I mean, I just find that this community of women who've been through it are just so loving and welcoming. And so, like you said, yeah, I'll come talk to you about your journey and my journey and how we can help others. And here we are. So, and you have your own podcast,
I do. Not today, cancer.
which is a great name.
I know. Yeah, no, I agree. It's like I remember when I was first diagnosed, and I'm going on or just past 5 years. And
Congratulations. Big
thank
deal.
you. It is a big deal. And I remember women saying, like, this is the club that nobody ever wanted to be part of. But once you're in it, you have support for life. And that couldn't be more true. Like, it is wild. The people that just are here. I've met the most incredible women through this crazy, wild journey.
Yeah. And I remember people calling me during I call it the dark time, right? When you're
Yes.
diagnosed. And now people are reaching out to me like, "Hey, my friend was just diagnosed. Will you talk to her?" And I'm still in the thick of it, but absolutely I will
Yeah.
because we are just in this club. So that's how the two of us sort of got to meet and here we are. And let's talk about your story first and how you got to this point in your life.
Yeah, and actually, my journey with cancer starts even before my own diagnosis, and I don't even know if you know this, but my husband was diagnosed with brain cancer in 2009. So that's really when cancer came into our lives, and he had it was grade 2 astrocytoma, and then it came back pretty quickly in 2011 as a grade 3, so we think it was always a grade 3. He had chemo and radiation. It was really, really, really difficult. And then it came back again in 2019 as a grade 4, and he's still here. He is a walking miracle. This is why I say don't ever look at stats. Stats lie. They're there for a reference if you want to look at them, but I always say we all are unique. We are all different. So don't always look at stats. But then all of a sudden, I was diagnosed in 2021 with breast cancer, and it rocked my world. And I thought, like, I remember with Darren having his diagnosis, when your husband, this person you love so much, is going through cancer, you almost take it on yourself too. Like, it was almost like I was going through it. So I thought until
Mhm.
I was diagnosed in 2021. And then I thought my life was over. I love that you call it a dark time because it is a dark time. And you are living in this fog or nightmare. And it was the scariest time in my life. And, I didn't, when you hear the words or you get that phone call, you have cancer, you literally think, oh my gosh, is my life over?
Mhm.
And we go into full on panic because there's usually some time where we don't really know yet what we're dealing with exactly until you get through the biopsy and all the things. And you just go into total panic mode and you think the worst. And I think it's just a really, really, really scary time.
It's a terrible time, and I'm wondering now that you had that experience with your husband, then you become the patient yourself. Did the 2 of you become, like, closer than ever because now you've been on both sides?
Well, weirdly, you would think we did, but we are because of his diagnosis because of his brain cancer. He has some short-term memory issues and some confusion. And him and I have had conversations about this, and we've even recorded podcasts on it. And he understands and he actually feels bad. I'm like, you can't help it. But I did feel like I was by myself in a lot of this. And I was his biggest advocate as he was navigating it. Like, I literally joke around that I feel like I could perform brain surgery because I dove into the research and I was like always there. In fact, at one point, I even stopped one of the surgeries, which is wild. I don't recommend doing that unless you really feel it in your gut.
Yeah.
But so I remember I was in that dark place that you talked about. This is when I really didn't know what was happening, and I was laying on the couch, and sometimes they'll just say, "Here's your team, here's your people that you need to go to," and I just accepted that, and I was laying on the couch, feeling like just devastated, and I remember thinking, what am I doing? Why am I not right now advocating for myself? Why am I not being that person that I was for Darren to myself? And all of a sudden I was like, okay, game on, let's do this. And I started researching the doctors and I started looking at everybody. I changed my whole team. I changed every aspect of it. And I did it on my terms after all the research that I did, which is really empowering and felt good. So there's nothing like, we get each other for sure, but it's just different because of his diagnosis.
Yeah, and what I've learned is through all of this, everybody's cancer diagnosis is unique. Even though you had breast cancer and I have breast cancer, like it's different and we have different stages and different body types and everyone's story is so, so unique.
Yeah, and even like, when Darren was diagnosed, he is a pharmacist and he believes in just doing what the doctors tell him, the surgeries, the chemos, the radiation. Where I became an integrative health practitioner. I don't practice, but I just wanted to have the knowledge. I believe in holistically healing yourself, meaning you do what the doctors say. I did all the things. And then you're like, what can I do on my end? And so I went through and made a ton of changes. And for him, and we talk about this all the time, there's no right or wrong. It's what you believe in to the core is right for you. Darren, who is a walking miracle, literally, if you look at the stats of his grade 4 brain cancer, that he's still here is less than 5%. But he always believed to the core on the treatment that he was doing. He never changed his food, he never changed his drinking, he never made any changes. Where for me, knew that I needed to make these changes because by me having some control in it gave me a sense of peace. Like, okay, the team, the doctors and myself, we're going to do this together. That's
Right.
what gave me peace.
Right. And I think I have a little bit of that too, because I made sure I continued to work out and eat the right things as I was going through chemo.
Yeah,
And my side effects were perhaps minimal compared to somebody else. And I feel like, did I do that? I don't know, but that's where my mindset was.
I
So
think so.
maybe that's how we got connected on Instagram. But before we get to, everything you say about survivorship,
Yeah.
tell people your story because a lot of people will relate to it. What kind of cancer? How did you
Yep.
find it? All that.
Yeah, so it was interesting. It was right before or right after COVID, like in the beginning. It was 2021. And I remember thinking like, how 2020 was just a blur for everybody. And I remember thinking like, am I late on my mammogram? I kept seeing the number 1111. I'm like, what is this meaning? Like, this is wild. I actually have it now tattooed on me. I'm like, why do I keep seeing this? I cannot figure it out. And it means just basically to pay attention. And I thought, am I late on my mammogram? And I was just by not long, but like a few weeks. So scheduled my mammogram. It was just a routine. I went in, no big deal. They called me. You get that phone call and they're like, hi. They're like, hey, we need you to come back for a repeat mammogram. And I thought, no big deal. I had done this before. I have very dense breasts. So this wasn't, it had happened a couple times prior. So I was not worried at all. But this was the first time that she said, do you want to know which breast? And I was like, huh. And in my head, immediately, it was saying, it's your left. It's your left. She's going to say your left. And she said, it's your left breast. And I was like, okay, and that kind of freaked me out a little bit, I'm not gonna lie, like, that freaked me out, but I'm like, "It'll be fine, it'll be fine." So I go to this repeat mammogram, and, when you go to this mammogram, you go to the mammogram again on that one breast that they're looking, and then if they still see it, then you go into the room where you have the ultrasound, and if they still see it there, they want you to see the doctor. And you always hope that you're never going to get to the point where you're seeing a doctor. So, yes, of course, they see it on the mammogram. I get to the ultrasound room and she starts staying in that left area where it was for a long time and in my arm for a long time. And I'm like, I'm
Hmm.
freaking out. And then
Yeah.
she said, I need to go get the doctor. And I was like, just devastated. And I remember he walked in and he was so kind, but just like the saddest eyes. And he's like, we are seeing something. I'm very concerned that this might be cancer. You're not feeling it? I'm like, no. And in my head, I didn't hear really anything else. They were like, do you have any more questions? I'm like, nope. I'm like, I need to get out of here. I didn't cry. I was like, there's no way. I'm like, there is no way both husband and wife can have cancer. This has got to be wrong. There's no way. And I called my girlfriend on the way home and she was like, yeah, if it was something serious, they would have called you right back. I'm like, exactly. I get home, I walk in the door and I get a phone call. And they're like, the doctor looked again and they are suspecting this is cancer. We need you in first thing tomorrow morning.
For a
And then,
biopsy.
yes. And then my world changed. And then I was bawling hysterically. I was crying so hard, inconsolable. Darren was like, I just thought my life was over. Because we don't know anything at this point. You get a phone call from and they were like, "We're sure this is cancer." I'm like, "It's over." And then like you start feeling all these things and like it's just the worst.
Yeah. Oh man, I can remember that time too. The radiologist came in at my ultrasound and said, it's
Yeah.
probably nothing still, but it's bigger than our threshold. So we're going to have you get a biopsy. I knew when I was in the biopsy room, when they were biopsying the thing that they saw, oh, we see another thing. Do you have
Oh,
give us permission to, and I was like, well, that's it. And that's when I absolutely knew in my gut. So I
yeah.
feel it. Like I have tingles right now. Like it just takes you back
Yeah.
to that time. So then what happened? What did they tell
S-
you?
So I went through the biopsy and the radiologist, she was so kind and so sweet. And she was even like, wait, because I said, I know it's going to be. And she's like, well, how do you know that? I'm like, well, the nurse told me. She's like, okay, but listen, breast cancer is not what it used to be. I'm like, thank you. Like, I need people to make this feel like not a big deal. So go through the biopsy and then you have the waiting, like the 4 days of waiting, which is or 3 or 4 days. It's torture. It is
Mhm.
almost the hardest time I think for most people cuz you're waiting for like basically a life or death sentence. And you don't know what's going to happen. You don't even know how to go forward. And I'm the type A personality. I am like a planner and I am like lost for a few days. And the only thing that I will tell you that helped me is meditation. I remember having so much out of control fear. I didn't even know how to like get through the day. And I just grabbed my phone and I looked up apps for meditation. And that was the only time I felt calm and peace. I will tell you, meditation has been a game changer and it's been with me ever since. But so finally, I get the phone call and it was invasive ductal carcinoma, stage 1, grade 2, ER positive, HER2 negative. So that was my full diagnosis. I did a lumpectomy and we did the oncotype score, did lymph node removal too. And the oncotype score came up a little bit higher. It was 21%. So it's in that gray area where one oncologist was like, yes, you need chemo. My doctor was at like first like, yes, you need chemo. But because the issue was is there was one cancer cell in my lymph node, but she said that could have traveled there during the surgery and they consider that no node involvement. So she felt comfortable with obviously doing radiation and then shutting my ovaries down with Zoladex injections because I wasn't in menopause and putting me on an aromatase inhibitor. So that was the route that I ended up taking. What about
Okay.
you?
Well, they found it in my lymph nodes, and I have
Uh-huh.
triple negative breast
Okay.
cancer, and I didn't do Doctor Google, but I know that's, like, the aggressive kind, and that scared me a lot. I remember needing, like, an emergency session with the therapist because I was in that time where I just, like, I couldn't stop my mind from
Yeah,
thinking, and so I have not tried meditation yet, but you may inspire me to do it.
do
I
it.
haven't.
It's
Okay,
powerful.
okay, I'm gonna do it, so we could talk
Yeah.
about that. But yeah, so I had to do chemo because of the type of cancer I have. They worry about the cells being anywhere in your body, so I did
Hmm.
16 rounds of chemo over 20 weeks, and I just rang the bell.
Good.
And yeah, now I'm a lumpectomy candidate, but for me, I'm choosing mastectomy because
Hmm.
I know my mental health. I will worry about this forever, and that will give me some kind of peace of mind. So yeah, I'm going into surgery soon.
Good. I mean, I would have done the same thing. In fact, I said to my breast surgeon, I'm like, take my breasts. I'm like, do whatever you need to do. And she was like, no, we can do this as a lumpectomy. You're fine. But I would have done it too
Yeah.
if I needed to. But
Just
no,
those
and
gut feelings, right? You make them.
yes, and just know that again, even that diagnosis is not what it used to be. I am so amazed at what is out there for us. It is wild what is emerging. It makes us, like just know that there is a lot out there for you.
I say this a lot. I'm grateful I have this now at this
Yeah.
time in 2026 because there is a lot out there, and I feel confident in and they're gonna get it, and I'm
Yes,
gonna
they
move
are.
forward. And so you have to have that mentality too. So, all right, so you get through your treatment and then you become this integrative health practitioner. Talk about that and then how you go down this road.
It's funny. Prior to my diagnosis, I was in the fitness and health space always. And I was always into fitness, working out, and I was always into fitting in the skinny jeans. And I was like, focus on protein, focus on calories, focus on like all the wrong things. So I basically lived on protein bars, protein shakes, uh processed meat because I was just trying to get some meat in. Like, it was just the worst diet at all. I mean, it was just awful. And there was no fiber, no beans, I wasn't eating a diversity of fruit and vegetables. I was worried about fruit because God forbid fruit has sugar, which is ridiculous. Like all the things wrong I was doing. So I was like, I need to learn about this and I want to learn about it for myself and for my community. And, because I don't want to just like say things that aren't actual factual that can help you. And it was empowering to me to learn all the things and look at the studies and the research and how I could do this holistically, me helping myself and also along with the doctors. And it's great. I don't practice, like I don't take on clients, but I just feel like I can help my Instagram following a little bit more with having, being an integrative health practitioner. I learned so much.
Well, your page got to me because I was looking for it, and so now I follow you. And,
Yay.
you have a lot of great tips for women going through it or just
Mhm.
diagnosed, going through it, survivorship, all of it. What do you think is the most important thing?
Okay. The most important thing, honestly, like I have looked at everything and I think if I were to pick one, I'll share several. First of all, slow down. Don't overwhelm yourself. There's a million things out there. I was just having a conversation with somebody today and she was so stressed and she's doing all the things and yet she's like, "Should I be doing more?" And I'm like, "Hold on. Take a deep breath. You are already doing so much. We just don't have control over everything.
Right.
But if you're doing the basics, you have the basics down, you're on the right path. We literally can't control everything. So you have to like release some of the control. I myself did get into that cancer bubble, which is not healthy either. We can't avoid all the toxins. You have to also live your life and do the things that bring you joy. But I do think the number one thing that you can first start focusing on is stress, minimizing
Which
stress.
is hard, like, when you're so stressed about life
So
or
hard.
death, but I get what you're saying.
It is so hard. And especially when you're in the middle of it. But if you are incorporating, and I'm not talking, because listen, every single day, there's not a day that any of us can get through without there being some sort of stress. And it might be a stress that you don't even realize. Your phone dinging, the emails, in the car, honking, TV, news, like it's around us at all times. So you have to take time throughout the day and do things to minimize that stress. And that is like getting outside, looking at nature, listening to the birds, unplugging from the podcast, just listening.
Mhm.
It is, like I said, meditation, but meditation is going to stress you out and say, "Oh my gosh, I can't meditate." Don't do it. Take the one off your list. You don't have to meditate. But for me, it feels so good. And I'm not good at it. I'm not like one that sits in this Zen position and I'm like completely, it needs to be a guided meditation and you just focus on your breath work. It can literally be a box breathing. So it's in for 4, hold for 4, out for 4, hold for 4. That alone right there brings you into that parasympathetic state, which is where we can heal. When we're in the constant fight or flight, and again, I know easier said than done when you're in the thick of it. I get that. But when you're constantly doing these things, breaks throughout the day, a minute or two here and there, it is so helpful for your nervous system. Because for me, I have to work at this every single day because I
Mhm.
would be one that never wants to slow down because I love doing all the things. And I have to make myself slow down because I really think that minimizing stress as much as possible is number one place
Okay.
to start.
Okay, number 1, try and minimize stress. I had a
Yeah.
previous podcast with, the Couliers, Dave Coulier and his wife,
Yeah.
and she talks about, like, touching grass. Go
Yes.
outside, let your bare feet touch the grass, like, you are part of this world, that brings you down into a lower state as well.
Just getting into nature. Okay, none of us want a diagnosis, but there are blessings that come along with it. And one of them is seeing the world through a whole new set of eyes. I was flying through life. I never paid attention to anything. I'm more like kid-like now. Like, I was just thinking the other day, I was laying on we have a little deck in our back and we've got a couch and chairs, and I was laying on it. I was just like looking at the clouds and, you know, I look at the moon and I look at the sun and I look at the birds and the leaves. Like, I never did that. That right there calms your nervous system.
Yeah, and
It's
there's this appreciation of every day when
yes.
you've been through this, that's a beautiful part of it, I agree.
I thank God every day for a new morning. Before my feet hit the floor, I'm like, thank you, God, for this new day. And then I'll just do like an intentional, like breathing in a couple deep breaths, let it out. Like we don't realize too with our breath is what can calm our nervous system. And our lungs just breathe for us. But when you actually like intentionally take a breath and you think about it, that's calming your nervous system.
Good advice, yeah.
Yeah.
So what I gather from your Instagram is eating is a big part
Yeah.
of it for you
Big.
as well. Big part of it. Like beans. You love beans. And
I,
when I think about it, I don't think I eat a lot of beans.
I know. Well, and it's evolved. It's really evolved. So for me, and again, I think that I've studied a ton of thing on nutrition too. There's no perfect diet, but all of us can be incorporating more fruits and vegetables and fiber.
Yes.
Fruits, vegetables, and which is fiber basically. So, because Mediterranean diet is great. I'm not saying you have to quit meat. For me, I stopped eating red meat and processed because that's what I was eating before. I just was like, okay, I want to switch things up. I want to do things different than what I was doing. And if I look back, I mean, listen, I was also consuming a lot of wine. It was right before COVID.
Yeah.
Wine was,
We all were.
I mean, happy hours got earlier and earlier, right? Like that's how we
Right.
survived. So, and not that you can't ever like, there's never one thing either. You can't blame one thing. But when you look at like, okay, how was I living? What are some changes that I can make? I think that's empowering. I never feel like I'm blaming myself. It's like, okay, this gives me hope. This gives me hope. Like if I make these changes, maybe this is going to help years down the road, right?
Right.
So I decided to go whole food plant based and I didn't know what I was doing. And I just started. I started incorporating more soy. I learned a lot about soy. I know soy can be people, and actually, soy for triple negative or negative has the best response.
Okay.
Yep. And the old research on soy is so not right. It has so many benefits for us. Not only can it help get rid of the bad estrogen, but you even think of like studies in or research in Asia, women in Asia before the Western diet was introduced never had breast cancer and they never experienced menopausal symptoms. And that's because of soy. I really don't deal with menopausal symptoms. I did for a little bit during that first like shut down those ovaries,
Yeah.
but they didn't it didn't last like too long. Maybe the first year a little bit here and there, but I got through it pretty quickly. So more soy, tons of fruit, tons of vegetables, a diversity of food. I think and don't overwhelm yourself. People are like, "Oh my gosh, how do I get new things?" Well, you just when you go to the farmers market or you go to your market or the produce section, pick something new. Like our gut loves something new.
Okay.
So just think about eating fruits, vegetables, whole grains, beans. So then I started incorporating beans. And you have to start slow with this too. We are supposed to have 25 grams of fiber is like what the American what they recommend. We're not even getting close to that. I think the average person gets about 10 grams of fiber. I think if you've gone through breast cancer, it should be more like 35 to 50. I probably get 50 plus, but you want to start slow with that because the second you start really incorporating a lot of fiber, you start getting gassy and that's
Right.
normal. People will stop because of that. Just cut back a little bit and slowly start increasing because fiber is the best thing for us. It helps get rid of that excess estrogen in our body. And it's powerful for everything.
Yeah. Well, what is like an easy way of incorporating beans? Are you just like boiling them and eating them? What's happening with your bean intake?
Yes. So, okay. Uh, I make them all sorts of different ways. So with chickpeas, I usually roast them. I was buying them in a glass jar. I've just evolved. Let me tell
Okay.
you. I was
Okay.
buying them in a glass jar because, you don't have to. You can get the BPA free cans. I just was buying them from Jovial, which is organic. It's small batched, which I love. Those are a little bit more expensive, but that's what I was doing. But I rinse them and then I put them in the oven for at 350 for 20 minutes with some seasoning and olive oil. Those are one of my favorites to add to
Mm.
salads, just to have as a snack. Another one is black beans. I will saute that with coconut aminos and again, some seasonings. I love the seasonings from Beller Nutrition. Beller Nutrition, you can get them on Amazon. She actually, have you heard of her?
No,
Oh, you need to
I'm
get
learning.
okay. She's amazing. She created spices for women with breast cancer and they have a synergy to them. They're all organic. There's no junk in them. You don't have to worry about like you know what I mean? So I get all of my seasonings are from Beller Nutrition.
Okay.
So
How do you spell
definitely
that
B
for
E
people
L
listening?
L yep, Beller. Her
Okay.
name is Rachel Beller. She's actually on Good Morning America a lot. And I've had
Okay.
her on my podcast, but she created these spices and she's got a cookbook too. I love her. She's amazing. So I get all of her seasonings. So I use them there's like a curry magic is one of my favorites. There's a vegetute power, another one. She has a morning boost, which I'll put on my smoothie bowl. So I saute beans with those seasonings. I will just eat kidney beans straight out of the jar because they're cooked, small batched. I just recently got a pressure cooker and I'm starting to cook them myself too.
Oh, wow.
So
Okay, so those are
lentils,
okay. Those are actionable
cannellini
items.
beans. Yes. Oh, my favorite way to make is cannellini beans. Get them out of the jar. I drain it, rinse it, a little olive oil. I saute it with fresh garlic, some why can't nutritional yeast, and it makes it feel a little bit cheesy to put a little topping on. It's amazing. You can
Huh.
put some broth in there, throw some spinach or kale, tomatoes. I don't like follow a lot of recipes. I usually just throw stuff together.
Okay. Well, follow your Instagram account because you do talk a lot about that and like smoothies that you make that's
Oh,
good in the morning for
smoothies.
you. You do
Yes,
that?
load it with flax and chia and walnuts and pumpkin seeds and soy milk and like I just load it up.
Okay. Well, yeah, I think that those are really actionable items. And as I get through this surgery, I want to tell everybody what's your Instagram? I
It's
should have
Jen
put it.
Delvaux, my name. Jendelvaux. And I want to talk about soy. One more thing I want to say about soy
Yeah.
is you just have to be careful of soy isolates. It's the only thing to look for in the ingredients. I became a label reader. I think that is important. Like, even if you're looking at soy milk, there's a lot of milk out there that has garbage. Make sure it's organic soybeans, water, and sea salt. Like, that's all that needs to be in your soy milk. And when you're looking at, there's certain bars, there's certain protein powders, a lot of packaged things, they have soy isolates. That's the soy you want to avoid.
Okay. That's
Whole
good.
food soy is what's good. Tofu, tempeh, edamame, those are all great.
Okay. All right. Good to know. Another thing that you posted this was recent too. 3 things I don't have in my house. And you put it, do
Uh-huh.
you remember this one? Candles. I've heard this
Oh, yeah.
before from a doctor I had on my podcast. She's like, do not burn those candles.
Anything with fragrance, period, end of story. Fragrance is phthalates and parabens, and they wreak havoc on our body, like mess up with our endocrine system big time. So, like, Tide, anything scented, anything. In fact, I was just researching and looking at this study, and they were talking about the most toxic room in your house is actually your laundry room. And the reason why is most of us are using conventional laundry soap, and you're washing all of your clothes with it, all of your towels, all of your bedding. You're then sleeping with it. You're getting out of the shower, your body's wet, and you're drying yourself off with a whatever
Yeah,
laundry soap that has like toxic chemicals in it. Fragrance, sadly, has it says just fragrance. That is like a mile long list of these toxins that are actually in it.
right. So do you use an organic for your
Yes.
laundry?
Or it is I switch it up a little bit right now. I'm using Truly Free.
I've used that.
Yep,
Yeah.
Truly Free is great. Just make sure like if it is scented, it's scented with essential oils.
Okay.
And dryer sheets, stay away from dryer sheets.
No, I do the dryer balls and just
Dryer
reuse them.
balls are great. Dryer
Yeah.
balls are great.
Okay,
Good.
and another thing you said, nonstick pans. There's a lot of
Yes.
discussion about this these days about the pans.
Yeah, the nonstick pans, it has forever chemicals in it. So PFAS. So when you are cooking, most of the nonstick pans, it's coated with PFAS basically, has that coating. And so as you're cooking or like you used it for a while, it starts getting these little scratches in it
Yeah,
that leaches into your food. Those are forever chemicals that we cannot get rid of. So
yeah,
just go to stainless steel. They don't have to be super expensive. You can go to Home Goods and get some great ones. You can go to Target and get some great ones, stainless steel, or another good brand that I like. Why can't I think of the name of it right now? Our Place, Our Home, Our Place, Our Place.
yeah, and, like, Caraway has been
Caraway,
out there for a while, so yeah, those kinda things.
Caraway, Our Place, stainless steel. Why can't I think of the one? I don't ever use it, but it's the one that people just reuse over and over again. Copper, not copper.
I know what you're talking about, but
You know
either
what I'm
way,
talking about?
this is important to you, and you think it should be for other people too.
100%.
Yeah, and then the last thing, and I've done this, these plastic containers, I've changed them all to glass. I took
Good.
away my plastic cutting boards and stuff because obviously that's getting into your food, and the worst thing to do would be heat something in a plastic container in a microwave.
100%. Get rid of and here's what I say to people. Start slow. Don't overwhelm yourself, but start swapping things out. I definitely think, switching out the plastic Tupperware to glass is important, especially if you're microwaving. Especially if you're microwaving. Like it is minimizing plastic as much as you can.
Yeah.
Really. Like instead of the plastic water bottles, like people think like, "Oh, I'm trying to get better water." Well, it's not really that much better, especially during the summertime if you're drinking out of plastic and then it's on you don't know how long or if it was hot on a truck and water bottles heating up is about the worst thing that can happen.
Yeah. So being mindful of some of these things before or after you get a cancer diagnosis is important to you. So,
Yeah.
I mean, what is the takeaway? I never thought I'd be doing this podcast talking to other people about cancer, but here I am, and I'm
Yeah.
guessing you're the same. You didn't think you would do this, your Instagram and, relating to women in this way?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, sorry. What was the question?
Just like you never thought you'd be here, but here you
Oh
are.
gosh. No, 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 no. Never in a million years. Like I was blown away and I was again it's been this whole evolution. The first year I was living the first few weeks I was in total panic. And then I went into research mode and then I was like changing actually, let me go back a little bit because it's been so long. The first year, I actually fought it a little bit. I fought it because I was like, I want to be me. I
Mhm.
want to be that carefree person who I was prior to my diagnosis. I want to still be able to have my wine. I'm not joking. Like I went through all this at first. I remember calling my oncologist when she wanted me to do the Zoladex injections, which shuts down your ovaries and it says you shouldn't be drinking with it.
Mhm.
I'm embarrassed. I'm still embarrassed. But I literally called her when she's dealing with like actual patients that are going through chemotherapy and I'm like, "Wait, this says I can't drink." Like, "Come on now." Like, you know what I mean? I went through all that. I fought it. And then I dove into the research, became that integrative health practitioner, really dove into all the things and learning. And then for a little bit there, I got stuck in that cancer bubble where I feared everything and I wasn't truly living. So
Mhm.
there needs to be this balance to it. And I feel like now here I am 5 years out and I'm in a really good place. I've learned a lot. I've met so many incredible women. It's changed me inside and out for the better. And yeah, but it's a whirlwind for sure.
Yeah.
It's life changing.
Definitely life-changing, but it helps me to see people on the other side thriving and saying things like you're saying, like, "It's changed me for the better. I'm okay. You can still live your life." Like, that's what I need to hear right now.
Yeah, and remember, I think including myself, we ring that bell. So you just ring the bell, but you still need to get through the surgery. You think it's over, and it's not. Getting a cancer diagnosis is lifelong. It'll always be with you. It'll always be a part of you, but it doesn't have to run your world. And that's what you need to remember. You know, we none of us know what's going to happen, right? We just don't. And so it's really important while we're here to be happy and living the fullest life possible. And I know easier said than done, when you're in the thick of it. So trust me, I've been there. And that seems like so far away and such a far reach to get to that place, but you will get there. It takes work. And I feel like the way you're doing it is right. I feel like women who are making some changes along with their doctors, they feel like you have some control over it and it gets you in a better headspace. I think women who haven't made many changes or they're not adding in maybe some things that can bring in more calming activities, they get stuck and they live in
Mhm.
that fear longer. And we're going to deal with the other thing that happens long term is you deal with some side effects, from medication or whatnot. And I do think not that it's perfect, but I think there are some things we can do to help us, like exercise, changing some diet, getting around people who get it, going to therapy if you need it. This is PTSD, what you've been through, and it's trauma.
Yeah.
And we need to talk through it and try not to be, because I think as women, we're like, oh, we're the strong ones. We take care of everybody else. I don't need help. And you need help
Yeah.
and you need to talk through it with somebody.
And whatever individual, what you can do to get into a better mindset is going
Yeah.
to help you. So, like, for
Yeah.
me, for you, it was talking about it with people and hearing from people that it's helping them, and then here we are in a great circle, a great loop. But
Yeah.
maybe others don't wanna talk about it, but whatever gets those people to a good mindset, you have to believe you can get through this.
And I'm so glad you brought that up too. We're all different. What is right for you as long as you feel good with what you're doing. Cuz you're right, some people don't want to talk about it.
Right.
I know people in my life who are pretty private about what they're going through, but they're good. They're fine. It's just for them, they want to keep it more to themselves and that's okay as long as you feel good where you are with everything.
Yeah. Well, I love talking to you off Instagram and on Instagram. Thank you
Yeah.
so much for joining me on this podcast. In this community, we need people talking about it. So kudos to you.
Well, thank you. I'm so happy to be here. It's so fun.